Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Reshmi Mukherjee and in my channel you get ICSE, ISE, English Literature and English Language topics. So as I have already promised you that we have done the part 1 and part 2 of Daffodils video. Daffodils explanation you already have in my playlist, Treasure Trove playlist, and here what we are doing is we are just giving it a revision so that you are prepared with all the questions sorry, with the MCQs, with the long answer question, the reference to context questions, probable questions, figures of speech, everything. So today we are going to have a bit of a lengthy session, but we are going to finish off with daffodils today and that's it. We will have nothing more of daffodils, so you can be rest assured that today it is going to be a bit long. So before we start, I want to remind you about the website slothskill.com. You will have a lot of content from this poem as well as many other. You can check them, and this is for ICSE, and we have MCQs. Although I have written only MCQs, but long answer questions also you are going to get along with answers, right? So this is the third part of the video. We have already done the first two, which were only short videos. You can check those. Those were just MCQs. So without any more delay, let's get started, right? So let's see first the MCQs. The first MCQ. In the line, outdid the sparkling waves in glee, what effect does the poet achieve by comparing the daffodils to the waves? Okay, so first option, the daffodils are portrayed as massive and uninteresting compared to the lively waves. See, just strike out the unnecessary one. Uninteresting, this cannot be right. The daffodils' joy and liveliness are emphasized by surpassing the glee of the waves. This can be correct. Depicted as still, daffodils were not still, they were moving. The daffodils' movement is ignored. No, the poet was highly influenced by it. So the correct option is option number B, right? Next, question number 2. What does the phrase "in such a jocund company" suggest about the speaker's emotional state? How did it affect the emotion of the poet? So the speaker is indifferent. Indifferent means somebody is not bothered about anything. No, it's not that. The speaker is sad and gloomy, seeking solace in the company of the daffodils. Can be correct. The speaker is overwhelmed with joy and happiness in the presence of the daffodils. Very happy. The speaker is annoyed. No, he's not annoyed. But B and C both can be correct. But according to the question, it is saying in such a jocund company. In this phrase, what idea do you get? Sad and gloomy he was. If it was given about the cloudy situation, you would have written option number B. But over here, in such a jocund company, it is just talking about happiness. Already he is out of that sad and gloomy condition. So it is going to be option number C. Next, third one. What is the significance of the phrase "what wealth the show to me had brought" in the context of the poem? Okay, first option is it suggests that the daffodils have material value. Material value they do not have. It reflects the speaker's joy for not realizing the significance of the daffodils earlier. Speaker's joy, speaker is sad, no, he feels that at that moment I was unaware that later on these daffodils would give me a lot of happiness. So that is not joy. It symbolizes the emotional and spiritual richness the speaker gains from the daffodil sight. Okay, can be correct. It refers to the physical wealth. No physical wealth. Did it provide him money? Daffodils? No. So no physical wealth, only emotional happiness. So option number C is correct, right? Let's move to the next question. I believe if you think that it is I'm hurrying a bit, you can just pause the video and think what would be the option and then check what answers I'm giving, right? Try on your own first. The phrase "the inward eye," that inward eye, what does it refer to? The speaker's physical vision while looking at the daffodils? It means that physical moment when he's seeing it? No. The daffodil's ability to see beyond the surface and understand this. Daffodil's ability we are not talking about. The speaker's imagination and memory where the image of the daffodils is retained. The daffodil's symbolic representation of introspection and self-reflection. Daffodils is an inanimate substance. What reflection will it undergo? So the speaker's imagination and memory where the image of the daffodils is retained. The memory, that is what is the inward eye. No? Once you see a movie, later on you think about that movie. How can you think about it? The movie is not in front of you. That is the inward eye, right? Next, we will move to the fifth question. How does the phrase "the bliss of solitude" add to the overall theme in the poem? suggests that solitude is an unpleasant and undesirable state. So bliss of solitude we are talking. Solitude is not an unpleasant state. It implies the speaker finds comfort and joy in being alone with his thoughts. It indicates that daffodils grow in solitary and remote locations. No, nothing as such. The bliss of solitude does not mean this. It emphasizes the speaker's desire to escape from nature's company. Nothing as such is given. The speaker actually loves the nature's company. He does not want to escape from nature's company. So the correct option will be option number 2. It implies the speaker's comfort and joy that he finds when he is alone with those memories and with those thoughts of the daffodils, right? So next question, number 6. The phrase, "and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils." This phrase, what does it suggest? The speaker physically dances with the daffodils. The speaker is not dancing over here, right? The speaker's heart is filled with sorrow and sadness. In the presence of the daffodils, his heart is pleasure fills, na? So incorrect. The memory of the daffodils brings immense joy and happiness to the speaker, can be correct. The daffodils mock and taunt. Daffodils is a flower. It cannot mock somebody, right? So the correct option is going to be the memory of the daffodils bring immense joy and happiness to the speaker, right? So option number C is correct. We have finished the MCQ portion from here. Now we will do the questions. Let's see the first question. In the line, "I wandered lonely as a cloud," which figure of, see, I have given the questions like these because we are just discussing the figures of speech. We are not going to, just stretch the video, providing you with a lot of extracts, okay? So just the lines and you can tell me what figure of speech it is. "I wandered lonely as a cloud." What figure of speech is this? So it is simile. Why? Because it is a comparison with the cloud. Compare the speaker's wandering, how the speaker wanders around in the Lake District and how the cloud is wandering through valleys, over valleys and hills. That is what is being said here. So the line uses a simile to compare the speaker's wandering to that of the cloud, indicating that the speaker is moving aimlessly. I am highlighting the important words. And freely, like the cloud floating in the sky. Hope it is clear. Next question, question number 2. Identify the figure of speech used in the line "continuous as the stars that shine." This is also a simile. Why? See, again, as word we have over here. The line employs a simile to compare the continuous nature of the daffodils present beside the lake beneath the trees, like continuous stretch, along with compared with what? Compared to the shining stars in the sky in the galaxy. If you see a galaxy, they are continuous. They seem to be continuous in the galaxy. You must have seen James Webb telescope, right? The images of the galaxy. So how do you see them? All bright, bright. What are those? Stars. So they are continuous. Similarly, the daffodils also continuous, that is growing beside the lake beneath the trees. Third question, in the line they stretched in never ending line. What is this? This is actually a hyperbole. Hyperbole is what? Is an exaggeration. When I say I will love you, maybe I love somebody and I say I love you for 1,000 years. That is not possible probably, right? I will not survive for 1,000 years. How can I love that person for 1,000 years? What I am trying to say is I will eternally love you. As long as I am alive, I will love you. Okay, my love will never end for you. To highlight this thought, I exaggerate the line. So similarly, it's not that the daffodils, it's not just the daffodils are, मतलब कोई end ही नहीं है इसका. There is of course an end. The world is not full of daffodils, right? But it is trying to point out that there are lots and lots of daffodils. Okay. So hyperbole, to emphasize a seemingly endless, this word is important, seemingly endless and unbroken line of daffodils along the margin of the bay. Alright, question number 4. What figure of speech is used in the phrase tossing their heads in sprightly dance? Very simple, we always practice this. Even in the last video where I taught you, I told you this is personification, because this one there, this is what? Daffodils. How can daffodils toss their heads like this? They cannot do it on their own, right? So this is given human attributes, which is movement attribute. So human like attributes are given. So this is this is called personification. Next question, question number 5. Identify the figure of speech used in the line "and twinkle on the Milky Way." What is this? This is called allusion. Why allusion? Allusion means the line actually is comparing something to the Milky Way. Now it is comparing the daffodils to the Milky Way. Some other concept is brought in for the comparison. So you have a celestial feature, okay, the stars, the space, the sky, where you have those stars all along the galaxy. I'm comparing it to that. So this is also an allusion. You can write this as well. Next, question number 6. What figure of speech is used in the line and dances with the daffodils? Okay, so the line is actually a metaphor. How is it a metaphor, you will ask me? So I will say the dances with the daffodils. The poet's heart is dancing. So we are comparing the speaker's heart to the daffodils. The daffodils are also dancing. The speaker's heart is also dancing. So these two are comparisons. Do you see like or as? No. So it is a metaphor to describe the speaker's heart as if it were dancing along with the daffodils. What does it try to express? Symbolically trying to express a lot of happiness. Okay, the heart also starts dancing, right? Last question is important because this is a romantic poem. So if it is asked that what kind of poem it is, you will say it is a romantic poem. Romantic poem just does not mean ki something about love and all that. It is also talking about the influence of nature. Okay, these poets were highly influenced by nature. Whenever I teach you this topic, I give you this idea that what is it written on. That is very important. This may be asked. So why it is a romantic poet? Because it emphasizes nature, because these poets are influenced by nature. See, the poet prominently focuses on the beauty and the significance of nature, of the natural world, which and this is actually these are the central themes in the romantic poetry. That nature has a lot of awe-inspiring qualities, very grand, very splendid qualities, and that is highlighted in the romantic poems. The poets were actually influenced by those qualities of nature. That in those poems you will see that it is believed that nature has the power to drive away all the worries, the challenges from your life. It gives you utter happiness. Okay, that's why these poets, you will see, whenever they were in trouble, they used to go to the nature and just take rest there, because they felt that all that pain would be wiped away when they were close to the nature, right? Next point is individual emotion and imagination. In these romantic poems, individual emotions were shown, right? What I feel when I see a daffodil. Here also the same thing. What I would feel if I saw a skylark that is moving high above the sky. I cannot see it, but I can hear the sweet tune of it, right? So how I feel about that particular natural element, that is given. So romantic poetry emphasized on individuality and expression of personal feelings. Okay, how you feel. It's not a generalized feelings. It's what you feel about nature. Third point and the last point for today, exaltation of ordinary subjects. These are very ordinary subjects. Just a daffodil. This is what? A wild flower. Skylark, a very ordinary bird. West wind, something which is very, very, very ordinary. Everybody feels it, right? But it can have a lot of impact on somebody's life. Okay, so the poem elevates the seemingly mundane and ordinary sight of daffodils into a source of profound joy and inspiration. That those simple, wild, bright yellow flowers can have a lot of impact on you, so much that it can drive all your worries away. It can give you immense peace, and it can give you peace for 1,000 years, okay, for a huge number of days, whenever you are sad. So romantic poets often sought to find beauty and significance in everyday experience and objects. Leaves, okay, trees, everything they found happiness in. So that is all from daffodils. We are not going to do anything else from daffodils. This much is enough. I believe figures of speech, if you are aware of them, you will be able to write them clearly and correctly. And MCQs we have practiced a bit, and I believe you will have no more problem from here. If you have, don't forget to write them in the comment section. I will try to sort your doubts. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss the other videos. So one more thing I would like to inform you that we are coming up with the question papers by mid-September or end of September. Your question papers would be ready. 10 to 20 sets of question papers would be there for all classes, 10, 9, 11, 12, ICSE, ISE, not CBSE, right? And if you are interested in purchasing them, of course that would be a paid thing. So if you are interested, you would get it in Google Drive. You cannot share it with anybody. You yourself, once you pay, you can check it. So I will give you the link and you can check those papers from there and use them for your exam purpose. That can be customized. You can tell me what particular chapters are there. According to that, the question papers will be made for you. So you can with the answer key, right? So you will have to mail me at slothskill.contact@gmail.com, and accordingly you will get your papers by mid-September, not before that, right? So accordingly you plan, you decide when you want your paper. If you want it before your annual exam, that time also this offer will come, so you can even ask for it. I will tell you the charges and everything maybe in the next video itself, so that you can think about the payment, whether you'll be able to pay it or not. So accordingly you decide, and then you can mail to slothskill.contact@gmail.com, and you'll be handed over with the papers not before mid-September, right? Thank you so much. Bye bye. See you in my next video.